Hello, this is Watch All About with another watch review, and in this review I'm very excited to present the Formex Essence. I reviewed a couple of Formex watches before and without doubt they always impress me for value for money. The Essence is a new watch which is just a standard auto, so usually I've reviewed their automatic chronographs, which actually are a bit more expensive. This one, however, promises to be a lot of watch for the money. So let's start off with the unboxing process. So I'm not entirely sure if this will be the final box or not. This is a press loaner, so keep that in mind. Open it up, and there she is. Okay, so we just get a nice little pouch here and a pretty standard but relatively nice case. So pop that out and shove this down on the floor. Okay, so this watch comes in a variety of different options. It's going to be launching on Kickstarter on the 25th of September, so just a few weeks from now. It is an interesting point why Formex have done that. You know, they're a relatively well-established brand now, so a little bit of confusion there. However, I think it is a pretty special watch for the price. So let's discuss the two options you have. So firstly, you can go for a standard ETA. The standard version is the ETA 2824-2 movement. That will cost you, pledges starting at $385 or about £300. Bearing in mind this is full automatic. Then there's the next level up, which is the Chronometer, the certified COSC certified version, which is what this one is demonstrating. You see it has Chronometer on the dial. That the pledges for that will start at $680 or £525, and that houses the Sellita SW200-1 movement. So, I mean, specs to price ratio, it's really hitting the nail on the head there. So let's go through the watch in closer detail and discuss it a little bit greater. So, first of all, it's worth mentioning the different options. The dial, this is obviously the silver version, but it comes in black, silver, brown or blue, and then the strap comes in black, brown or blue, and obviously for the silver version you can get the brown strap with it. So they're going to be the main options, the two different types of movement and also the different types of strap and dial. So a lot of different options there. Let's discuss the specs then. So I've got just over a 7-inch wrist, about 7¼ inch wrist. So the diameter is 43mm. Has a height of 10mm and a lug-to-lug length of 50mm. So in terms of size, I think it is obviously a little bit on the larger side of things. Shape-wise, I think it does, despite it being a relatively dumpy lug-to-lug length for the size of the watch, I think the fact that the lugs are a little bit fatter does make it wear that little bit larger. I think it still can be passed off with someone around a 7-inch wrist, however, but it does certainly create quite an impression on the wrist. It is, fairly large, especially with this option where it basically looks like it's all stainless steel. So yeah, it does wear nicely. It does wear a little bit large, but the slender height is pretty good for wearing it under cuffs and jumpers, etc., etc. Weight-wise, it's 99 grams, so it's pretty nice and easy to wear. Very comfortable as well. You have a water resistance of 100 meters or 10 atmospheres, so that's pretty standard. I wouldn't recommend you properly go diving with it, but it is protected from a little bit of water resistance there. Lug width is 22mm, so I think it fits perfectly alongside the size of the case. You get a 3-year warranty, which is pretty cool. So you're covered there for a number of things. And moving on to the movement. Now this movement in here is obviously the Sellita SW200-1 because it's a COSC chronometer. The guys at Formex did say this one definitely has not been regulated, so don't take anything by it. I thought, well, I'll still check it, and it's actually coming in at a massive, not a massive, but an incredible plus 0.8 seconds a day. So that is really accurate. Obviously, if you were to go for the COSC version, that will be guaranteed within COSC specs. However, with the standard version, the ETA 2824, they're always pretty accurate as well. So I think whichever one you go for, you're going to get obviously a very, very well-renowned movement, which is solid, dependable, easy to repair if anything does go wrong as well. So I think from that point of view, the two choices are pretty excellent. So that's all the specs. Let's have a look at it in closer detail. So starting off with the dial then. So we have this stainless steel kind of base to it, which I find really, really attractive, really nice. So we've got vertical brushes and horizontal lines. Each line is CNC machined into the dial. One important thing to bear in mind is that the logo, the Formex logo, will actually be one line lower on the final version. It's a little bit high on this one. Tell you what, shall I just move the hands out of the way as well? There we go. So the logo is obviously one line too high on this version, so that will be dropped down, which I think will balance out the dial a little bit nicer as well. When you look at it up close, it is pretty spotless, really nice. Really like the design of the hands and the hour markers as well. That's actually been brought through from the Element, which I really like the fact that they're kind of using similar styles between the families. It does create a nice impression across the entire brand. So they've done a good job in pulling that in. I like the date wheel, date window indicator as well. We have two slightly dipping in ramps, which introduces the date wheel itself nice and neat, and just everything is really well manufactured. I'll put the macro lens on a little bit so we can look at it in much closer detail. So I think the design, I still think, despite it all being stainless steel, legibility is still pretty good because everything is reflective, and there is enough differentiation between the hands and the dial as well. So legibility is still really good, despite it being pretty much a dial full of stainless steel. And the printing is all very nice and neat as well. So it's definitely a modern design. It's not classy or smart. It's not really a smart dress watch as such. So I think this is primarily going to be kind of a more casual watch, but I think it will also pass with a suit as well, mainly because just how luxurious it looks in the flesh. Moving on to the case then. So the case is what's really impressive for the price, especially the standard version. It's £300, $385. What you're getting is amazing. First of all, the crystal. With every Formex I've ever reviewed, the crystal is just like nothing else in the same price bracket. The clarity is absolutely stunning, and I've always said that a decent anti-reflective coating always creates a massive impression, creates the difference with a watch. The anti-reflective coating on this watch is absolutely stunning. I mean, as you can see, it's so nice and crystal clear, even when it's like directing towards the window. It still looks really smart, really crystal clear, and when you're looking at it face on, you can't even tell that the crystal is there. So to the naked eye, and when you're glancing at this watch, you can tell that this is good quality, just simply because of the crystal. Another cool thing is, as is the case with all modern Formexes, we have their patented suspension system. As you can see here, the central block is separated from the main outer edge. So that's really cool, and you can see the crown moving there as well. And if you have a look at it from below, you can see where this separation takes place. You can see we have this inner edge there, and that's where it all gets pushed in. So the innards to this suspension system is all made with grade 2 titanium. So again, even what you can't see is really good, strong, lightweight, good quality as well. So the finishing is a nice mixture of brushed and polished. As you can see, the sides are primarily brushed, and the lugs as well. Apart from, we have this very slight slither of polish top shoulder, which is really nice, really catches the light well. And then we have our four corners, I guess, to the suspension system, and then moving on to the bezel, polished edge and a brushed top. So again, we have a really nice array of reflections, really eye-catching. Moving on to the case back, obviously we have our case back proper and also our separation, but it also does a really nice job showing off the movement as well. We have this exhibition window and some details really deeply engraved around the outer edge of that. The crown, as you can see, is suspended like the central case, and whilst it's pretty straightforward, pretty plain, interesting little embossed hexagonal in the middle. It's got really good grip. It's not too large, not too ugly or anything like that. It's fairly subtle, but it does a great job. You know, you can easily hand wind it, easily pull it out as well to set the time. So yeah, really impressed with the quality of the case and the dial, in fact. Moving on to the strap. This has obviously done the round, so it's starting to look a little bit worn. However, it's really nice grain, good quality leather. And what's worth noting is that the final version will have a better hug to the case. Obviously, they're aiming to make it pull in right up close to the curvature of the case, so you don't get any see-through like gaps. It will also have, you can see the holes there, but the pins haven't been added. They will also have quick release pins. Moving on to the buckle then. This is similar to the buckle on the Element. However, they're still experimenting with the actual clasp buckle itself. This is a really smart, different way of doing things. Actually, it's a butterfly clasp, but usually with butterfly clasps you don't have micro adjustment, whereas with this one you do. So you just press this button and then you can adjust to a micro amount like so, which is really nice. They're saying as well that this will be you'll be able to take this on and off without the need for tools, which will be a nice little addition as well. So you can easily take the entire strap and buckle off and apply the buckle to a new strap if you want to, which is pretty cool. But yeah, really lightweight because it's carbon fiber, nice and comfortable on the wrist as well. So yeah, I've always found it to be very strong, very sturdy, but also very secure as well. Okay, so just moving on to the movement then. So this is the Sellita movement. As you can see, we have a nice custom rotor on it as well. So this will be the movement that comes with the COSC version. I'm not entirely sure I would have hoped that you get the customized rotor on the ETA version as well, but that will be confirmed. So really lovely movement, and you can't really go wrong with it. I mean, look at it, it's got lovely pearlage on it. Really beautiful movement there. Okay, so let's get the macro lens on and we will look at it in much closer detail. So starting off with the dial. So here's the logo, nice print work. You can see the backdrop of the dial with this brushwork and the CNC engraved lines as well. All very, very nicely machined. Here we have our hour markers as well. Very nice and neat. And our hands as well, with sort of like a brushed central channel and polished edges. Again, really nice amount of attention to detail. It's not something you would necessarily notice until you look right up close there on the hands. And the date window, you can see these two ramps going into the wheel itself. Nice and neatly done. And of course, Swiss made at the bottom. So then we have the rehaut, which is brushed as well, with a very subtle minute track printed. So moving on to the case itself. So here we have one of our lugs, if I can get it in focus. So bearing in mind this is a press loaner, so it has done the rounds. Here we have our brush top and a polished shoulder. Moving on to our brushed side, we have one of our screws, one of our corner points for the innards for the suspension system, and then the bezel itself with a brush top and a polished side there. Flipping it over, let's have a look at our crown. It's a hexagonal embossed in the center with a polished end, and our grip, which is pretty nice and neat, easy to use as well. Moving on to our case back then. Let me just get that off. Flip it up the right way around. So here's our case back. You see the central ring around the exhibition window with our details, all nice and deeply engraved, very accurately done so as well. And then we have 8 screws holding it in place, and our join there. And then look at our movement itself. Very nice, customized rotor here. They're probably most likely fake screws, but they look cool nonetheless. And a very nice Sellita movement with plenty of pearlage to impress. Okay, moving on to the strap then. So a very nice, good soft top grain. It's comfortable with matching stitching. It's obviously very well made, good quality leather as well. And then moving on to the buckle, just hook this on. So the top bar of the buckle really you can't go by, because this is just a plain and signed buckle. This will in fact have Formex logo engraved on it, and it'll have lots of edging as well, so there's not even much point in even looking at that. However, the innards of the buckle is good and worth looking at, because it's made by carbon fiber and pretty neatly done. Okay, so I'm sure you will agree with me in saying that it is pretty good value for money. Personally, I think the standard version is such good value for money, I personally wouldn't even bother with the COSC version. For £300 or $385 to get a fully Swiss-made watch with an ETA 2824-2 movement in this quality is really, 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 simply put, a no-brainer. It is such incredible value for money proposition. Obviously, the style is quite modern. Not many people, well, it won't appeal to everybody. But if it does appeal to you and you're in the lookout for a watch like this, I can guarantee you now you will not find a better value option at the moment. There's just so many things about it. I mean, the quality of the anti-reflective crystal is just stunning. The build quality of the dial itself is lovely. You know, and the design is pretty cool as well. And then you get the cool addition. I mean, it probably won't be used a whole lot, the suspension system. But, you know, it just goes to show the amount of manufacture and amount of time and effort that's gone into building this this watch. There's so much technology packed into it. You know, an inner cage made of titanium grade 2 to house the suspension system, and just the general fit and finish of the case as well. It's just staggering, really. So I really, really like it. It's coming to Kickstarter in a few weeks. If you're watching this after the Kickstarter campaign has ended, or if it's a year down the line and they've started rolling them out properly on their site, it's a very, very strong watch for the money. I can guarantee that. So yeah, I've been really, really impressed with it. As I have been with all of Formex's offerings that I've reviewed. You know, I think their value is just staggering and unbeatable at the moment. So this was the Formex Essence. And that's what it's all about. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.